Hi there, it's me again. My name is Olaiton AK, and on this channel, I talk about scholarships. I talk about graduate school, how you can secure funding for graduate school, and today I'm specifically addressing how to travel to the US with your family as a graduate student or as an international student. Okay, so of course many graduate students usually are older students in many cases, and sometimes you have families, and you want to travel with your family, or you want your family to be with you while you are studying. Having secured your admission and your admission documents, your school would also issue you a document called I-20, and while before they issue you that document, you have a form where you be able to indicate or not whether you are traveling alone or you are traveling with family. So after you've indicated on that form that you're traveling with family, you would of course specify the number of your dependents, and your dependents in this case will be your spouse and your children. Before that I-20 is issued to you, based on the dependents you have, that's your family members. Usually, in many cases, there'll be a calculation for an amount of money that you're supposed to show. Okay, so in some cases, some schools would cover the expense of your dependents. I don't know of many schools that cover all, but I think some schools do, and some schools might cover the amount of certain number of dependents or certain amount, and some school would not cover your dependents at all. So that means that if you have an assistantship or another form of scholarship, it might just be yourself, and then in that case you have to show a proof of income for your dependents. So however your case may be, your I-20 will reflect such information. It reflects the amount of funding you have or not, and it would also reflect the amount of income that is that covers your dependents for for a particular duration. So before you're issued that I-20, you usually need to submit like bank statements that covers the particular sum that is that has been indicated or has been that your school has told you about, that is required to cover the number of your dependents, that when you're coming with dependents or family members, or even if your school is also sponsoring your dependents, it will also be indicated on the I-20. So you have your I-20 now, and the next step is of course to attend your visa interview. And remember, in this case you're attending with your I-20 is different because it also shows that you have family members. So by the time you're applying for your visa, for your on your visa form, you would of course fill your information, and also indicate on the section for family members. You also indicate the family members, and I know that you are required to fill a different form for every family member. I think I'm correct on that. So you are required to submit those documents. Now in the US, for the student visa is called F1, and the dependent visa is called F2. So that's spouse and children younger than 18. So your spouse and children younger than 18, that should be noted. So usually in many cases, some people advise that you travel with family or not travel with family for the US. I think I'm going to have to address that in another video, but in this video I'm going to be talking about attending the visa interview with your family members. So um, so having filled the forms that you're required to fill, you'd um, excuse me, now I'm running out of breath. So you're attending the interview with your family. So usually, I know for Nigeria, usually you would most of the time get the same date for yourself and family members, or in some cases it might be maybe a few days difference, or however it is. So when you're attending with your family members, I mean, of course, you want to make sure that you have all the information, all the documents that you require. And if some very important documents for your spouse, for example, you should have document like your marriage certificate. For your children, you should have documents like birth certificate, if they are adopted, maybe documents that show that reflects the adoption, and some important documents that may be required. But these are the documents that I know that are necessary for you to have: your marriage certificate, your sometimes some people go with pictures of their weddings, and all that, but it's important for you to have all these vital, all these crucial documents. So by the time you're attending the interview, of course, you want to let the visa officers know your intention in the US. And of course, once they are aware that you have your family members there with them, they will be asked some questions separately, and they might be interviewed separately or interviewed together. Okay, so when they are interviewed, being interviewed, of course you want to prepare your family members to answer the questions correctly. So they should be able to answer questions like, they should have an idea. I mean, of course, the older ones, I mean, maybe your spouse, because usually younger children may not be asked any question. And I think that maybe children, younger than a particular age are not required to attend this interview. I'm not too sure of that. But however, your spouse, for example, should have details of your school, your course, what you're going to be studying, some particular information. And another information that your spouse should know, okay, that's the F2, is they should be able to articulate what they intend to be doing while you are studying in the US. Now, you must note that in the US, the spouse of students or F1 are not allowed to do any kind of work that brings in income. Okay, so they're not required to do any kind of work that brings in income. So your spouse want to be clear about what they will be doing while you are studying. Okay, so things like maybe if they already had a job back home that maybe they're going to be working remotely through, or if they have a skill or a vocation that they're going to be developing, things like that. So just note that the spouses of F1 students are not required to do any work in the US that brings income from the US. Okay, so yeah, so that should be noted. So you want to make sure that your spouse is able to answer those questions correctly, like what they intend to be doing. And of course, the important thing they expect is that your spouse being there with you, that they are there to support you. Okay, being that they understand how graduate school can be quite tough, and the importance of having family members around. So they also want to communicate that to the officers, that their presence is first to help you, to support you through your graduate student studies, to provide the emotional support and all that. And that's the important one. And then of course, if during that period they have any vocation or anything they will be engaged in, which should not necessarily be the core. Okay, it should not necessarily be the core, but the core is that they are there to support you and to help you through the period of being in graduate school. And yes, I think that about spouse traveling with you as a student to the United States, or traveling with family to the United States. So And of course, please drop comments for me, drop questions for me in the comment section. I hope I've been able to cover this. I think I did my best, but if there's anything that is not clear, please just drop a comment for me or ask me the question in the comment section below. And please remember to please subscribe, share this video with people that will be in need of this, and please also like this video, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you.